Hey everyone, it is Old Roommates. This episode, Raiders of the Lost Ark. So grab your whip and settle in for another fun episode of Old Roommates.
Welcome, everyone, to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Brian.
And this is Christina. Welcome.
And we are recording again remotely. We're not together. We're not at Wet Chair. Obviously keeping our social distance and just zooming our way through this 1981 film. How are you, Christina?
I'm doing all right, Brian. I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in. We're on what, week 3 now of this social isolation?
Yeah.
And I think I'm handling it okay, considering, but I don't know.
What's that you're drinking?
Oh, this is my tea. This is my tea.
Spiked or no? Have you ever done a spiked tea?
Yes. Jen and I used to make iced, like these iced green tea, and like throw some rum in it, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
So that's more of like a summer thing. But
yeah.
I mean, we're kind of living on vacation mode right now, so
right.
Maybe I will.
Are you hearing Shorty?
I am hearing Shorty.
So I really want to apologize up front. This is a crazy, crazy time for all of us, including my cat. So I thought by sitting on the sofa in a weird angle that he likes to sit on me, that this would help, but he just got up and started running around and screaming. So if anyone wants a cat, oldroommatespod@gmail.com. He's about 20 years old.
Aww. He's a sweetheart. We get a lot of comments about Shorty.
That we don't leave the vet without dropping about $300 a time. So.
Really, only $300?
No, I know. Well, sometimes it's more. But anyway, so Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981.
1981.
What were you like in 81? Did you see this when it came out, or when
I think I did. So what's funny about this movie is it's kind of surprising that I saw it in the first place because it wasn't really my genre. It wasn't something that I was really interested in. So I'm assuming this was some sort of a date.
81. So yes, you're probably 13. What? No, 14? 14.
I graduated high school in 86. So, oh God, it probably wasn't a date. You know what, though? I don't know. I don't know why I watched it.
Whatever it was, you were going with the flow.
I was going with the flow. I don't even think I saw it in the movies. I'm not really sure. You know me. I don't really know where I saw these movies. But but the fact remains, I saw it, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not really a big action kind of movie person. And I remember thinking it was really funny and much different than what I had expected. And I was thoroughly entertained. And so it surprised me. It didn't make me want to like action movies or anything, but I was pleasantly surprised at it.
Yeah.
What about you? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's like adventure, right? And so I will tell you, Christina, every once in a while, I'm like, oh my God, we were pretty similar. Like I truly wrote in my notes, I don't know if you can see it, not my thing. In 1981, I don't think I went to the movies to see this. I definitely remember renting it in VHS, but I wrote my then, because I usually wrote my then before I watched the movie, just to get centered and like, what did I think about this? But back then, and so I think I rented it as soon as it came out on VHS, and I wrote, so I had written, not my thing. And this is so weird, and this is pretty true today. I don't like movies. I don't tend to like movies that take place in hot climates.
Oh, interesting.
Like deserts. Movies that take place in deserts have a harder time with me, and I don't know what that means about me. But it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's like when I remember about it then was like swamps and spiders and snakes and damp caves and just the desert. And I remember, so the first time I saw this, so it was probably 10, I guess, or 11. And I just remembered being a little, so after the amazing initial sequence with the giant ball rolling and all that, there were times where I think I it may have been at my dad's house, and I think I just got up, went into the kitchen,
I could see
made a
someone.
bowl of,
I could see someone of your age not being interested in all the dialogue. There was a lot of
yeah.
dialogue.
Well, and we're going to get to that because that's a
Mhm.
major note I have. So even for now, but yeah, so it wasn't my thing, but I think, but here's the funny thing. I loved Temple of Doom. And that's a movie I did see in the movie theater. And that is, Temple of Doom is almost non-stop action and
Mhm.
adventure. Where this one, it's like it has set pieces. And there's these lulls. And another set piece and a lull. And I think to be a teenager or preteen, I wasn't all that interested, really.
Sure.
And I also was kind of, in a weird way, like, even then I was like, well, I mean, he's not gonna die. He's Indiana, like he's the star of the movie. He's Indiana Jones.
Right.
Like, so there's that element of things too. That even as a little kid, I think I was a little like, okay, like all these arrows, all these spiders, and he doesn't get bit, stabbed, whatever. You know, he gets shot in the arm, but whatever. So all that to say, not my thing.
Right.
Then.
Okay.
So let's
dive in.
Dive in. Shallow Dives.
Shallow Dives only.
Written by Lawrence Kasdan, which shocked me. I don't think I knew that. I didn't know that.
What else did he do? I'm not familiar
Body
with
Heat.
Oh, interesting.
Body Heat. Well, he also wrote and directed things like The Big Chill. So I'm gonna get this. So here's the thing. I don't know if he was a writer and director and or other whatever on these movies. The movies I'm saying right now, I know he was involved in.
Sure.
The Big Chill, Body Heat. The Bodyguard, I think, was his first screenplay, even though it was made much later. So he has a really vast stuff, but it's usually more interpersonal stories, to my knowledge, not necessarily action adventure. He did a great movie called Grand Canyon in the early '90s that I really liked.
Oh, that's with Kevin Kline, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I like that.
That was great. So it's like I was just surprised. I didn't know he dabbled in this genre.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that was the first thing that got me.
That was the first thing.
Yeah.
So what got me was I felt like the first sequence was kind of boring. So it really.
Well, from when to when? What do you mean when you say sequence?
I don't know, and it just seemed like it went on for a long time, and it was, I don't know, it just seemed really long and somewhat boring. And I think part of it was because I had seen it before, and I was trying to look at it through new eyes with, sort of that surprise factor of all the different things that were happening.
Yeah.
But I was almost like, all right, let's what's going on? And I have to say, like, I am not a big fan of these action adventure things like Game of Thrones. Like I can't. Like, I don't mind like the actual like relationships that happen on Game of Thrones and the backline storylines, but these epic battles that go on for like 4 days, I can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
So, and this beginning sequence sort of reminded me of that. Like, I was kind of like waiting for it to get over, like, all right,
really,
let's move it along.
What time did you watch this? Like, when did you put this, like,
I put it on
this
like
time? Yeah.
first thing in the morning. It was like I was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
Interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know what was going on, but it was to me, it just didn't feel like anything great was happening. Maybe the other thing too is I might have been just sort of waiting for some of that more entertaining aspect of it that I remembered, like the funny kind of stuff. And the more I watched the movie, the more I was thinking it was possibly like the Temple of Doom that I was more interested in.
Oh, the Temple of Doom. I know. I agree. I think Temple of Doom just has more excitement and laughs and stuff like that. I will say that for the first sequence, that Alfred Molina, I forgot it was him. I didn't remember that Alfred Molina was the other guy. I was generally like surprised all over again by that first sequence with like when he turns around, there's like a million spiders on his back.
God,
Little,
that surprised me. That scene.
Yeah, and then all the little like booby traps and stuff. What I was surprised by is like how they sort of hid Indiana Jones's face. Like in the very beginning, like you never saw his face until the guy pulls a gun. And this is a little strange, and this is something I think my overall point of the movie is like the timing is weird. Like the guy pulls out a gun to shoot him, but Indiana Jones has enough time to turn around, take his lasso out, rev his lasso up, hit the gun. Like it's like, no, a bullet's faster than that.
It was lots of luck in this movie for Harrison.
Which is a throwback to all those cliffhanger like 30s and 40s, like will he get out just in time? But I think to my earlier point, like when Indiana Jones jumps across, like in the very beginning scene, he jumps across that thing, and because the guy, what did he do? He threw the whip, like he was like, throw me the statue. Throws him the statue, and he's like, bye.
Right.
And he jumps over the thing and just misses. So he's like trying to climb up. Like there's never a doubt he's not going to make it. You just don't know how.
You just don't know what's like. Is he going to fall and then be, on a new situation where he has to try to get out?
Exactly. But I did love, and I have to be honest, that giant rolling rock, the rolling ball. I was impressed, and it didn't, and I don't know enough about the backstory of this movie, but I don't think it was green. I don't think it was green screen. It looked really real.
Yeah,
and
it
Carl,
looked really real.
So Carl watched it with me, and he's like, and he was like, did they do something to the color, or like is this a newer print? Because there are just things that seemed much cleaner for the movie that was from 81. But
how did you watch it? Did you watch it on Netflix?
Netflix.
So I started it on the DVD, and then it got stuck, and I was like, oh, thank God it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
So I was able to finish it on Netflix.
I will say I love the giant rolling ball. I love the spider, the surprise of the spiders and things like that. I did have two notes that seemed to kept coming back and sort of proving me right. The music needed to calm down a little.
I have that in my notes, Brian. Where is it?
Because you remember this.
Constant. This is what my note is. It says
good.
Constant swelling music was just too much.
Yeah.
It was constant. And maybe we're just having back, what is it with like
PTSD
from when we used to work at Jordan's Furniture, and they had it in the background.
They played it all the time.
Yeah, it was.
But I think what? Here's the thing. My connection to that music, besides us, is like I remember I guess because that music is so like dun, 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 and it's like these swells of beat, and I think somewhere along the line, maybe it's because of Temple of Doom and the other movies since Raiders, is that I think I connected it to bigger moments. So sometimes they would play this music, and all they're doing is like having a conversation.
Oh my God.
Or
and not only that, but like, I mean, I was constantly on, like it was always there. But also, like, how many times can you find something and stop and look at it and then be all excited? Like, that happened in this movie so many freaking times. I'm like, I don't even fucking care what's in that box.
Okay, so here's what's funny. I didn't mind that because I'm like, well, he is like an archaeologist, professor, international
something
person.
I don't know.
And so I appreciated those realizations, like, because this means something to him.
It happens so much.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
There's a thing. I was going to say something else about the music, I think.
But yeah, I was connecting it to bigger scenes. So when it was playing, I was like, wait, why are they playing it now?
Oh, I will say, you know what I know, seriously, like, why? It's like, this isn't the big moment. Like, what music are you going to play in a big moment if this is playing now? What was interesting about the music, though, is I went to put it on the DVD, and of course, at the menu, like the start menu, that music is playing in the background. and I put it on, and I got like this really excited feeling, like, oh my gosh, like I'm excited to see this movie.
Yeah.
But that kind of, but that's about as long as it lasts.
I did like the sort of like the love theme music, and I connected that to, and I don't know why, I connected that to like to Star Wars. When they played that music, I was like, oh, I always thought that like the somber ones were from like Empire Strikes Back. Like my childhood, my then was getting very mixed up of where the slower moments were coming from. But again, a bit too much drama. It's a bit heavy. Like you're saying, swells. Swells is a great word.
Thanks.
So there's an amazing. So I actually wrote this down as it was happening. Oh, the scene where the American government comes to talk to Dr. Jones or Indy. I'm going to read this list, and I'm not shitting you. This is true. Oh, here are the the proper names that they said in a 3-minute scene. Oh, ready?
All right.
Tanis, Cairo, Berlin, Jerusalem, Ravenwood, Cannon, Staff of Ra, the Secret Chamber, Lost Ark of the Covenant, Nazis, and the Well of Souls. And that's all my pen could keep up with. There's so much information in that scene, Christina. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what
they're sitting in the auditorium.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Right after his class.
I'm like, no wonder when I was like 12, I left the room. Yeah. Like, no wonder. I'm like, who did anyone follow that on the first time around? It's so overloaded.
It's really funny too, because I at that scene, that one scene, I'm like, why are they throwing all of this information? I'm like, I wonder if there's any element of truth to this information. So I actually started to look it up, but then it had so much information. I was like, fuck it, I'm not even gonna do this. This is stupid. It's not even worth it.
I think it's probably for like the fandom, the folk, not the folk, what's the word? What do they call that? The folk. Damn it. No, not the folk. No, it's not the folk. It's like, that's what I was going to say, but it's like, this is for like the fanboys. This is for like sort of the geeks that are really into this world anyway. Because they're probably like, well, that could only happen if that happened. And maybe, but it was lost on me.
They didn't need to say all of that information. They really didn't.
No.
It wasn't necessary.
I don't think they did. Maybe for
someone in the writing room was like, let's do this to make it look authentic, but
that's probably yeah. I did like the bar scene, her bar when everything's going crazy, and the things that stuck out is it how much that came back to my mind, because 2 reasons. One, that German guy is so
scary, so creepy, so scary. Totally. He's like a great villain.
He's a great villain.
He has that weird voice and everything.
Great actor, like Fraulein and all that. But the other thing that jumped out, and I remember that too, was how much blood. There's a lot of blood. I mean, people getting shot in the face and like
super
blood.
violent. And
this is PG. It's PG.
It was PG. And that is absolutely one of those differences, that you would not see that sort of violence in a PG movie today. You probably would not see that level on a PG-13, honestly.
I think I agree with that. And I was really surprised how much blood there was in this movie.
A lot of blood, and even like the level of like the torture, right? With like the hot poker, like he's going to burn her face.
Yeah,
that's creepy. I mean, he didn't do it obviously, but just that threat. I remember that, and it was like very jarring even back then when I saw it. I remember thinking, "Oh my God, what a terrible thing to happen."
Same. And then when he burns his hand and the thing. But the thing that I think the reason why the blood shocked me is not that I can't handle blood, but I think what it was is like there's slapsticky stuff.
Yeah.
But there's bloody consequences. So that was weird to me as an adult, like now. Back then, I don't think I tracked it. I was probably like, okay, whatever, it's blood and, and whatever, blood and slapstick. But as an adult, now I'm like, that's a weird combination. Like, even
Yeah.
remember, so at one point Indy says he gets thrown against the bar and he's like, whiskey, and he takes the whiskey and you think he's gonna drink it and he just smashes the guy in the face.
Yep.
But there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so it's like comedy, like the fact, like, it doesn't have to be a whiskey bottle, but it's like the specificity of that is funny, but then it's met with blood.
Yeah.
And it's just a weird mix.
It is a weird mix. I mean, it works in the sense of the adventure scenes of being funny.
But there's consequences. Yeah.
But when it's like actual violence mixed with humor, it's like makes you really uncomfortable.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little weird for this sort of like action adventure swinging from vines movie. Like,
But I mean, I don't think it was. Do you remember being shocked when you were young watching it?
No.
I mean, you were pretty little, but I think it was more the norm back then. I think that sort of thing happened more often, that we just are so desensitized or sensitized now? Desensitized now.
Oh, wait.
No,
Yeah,
sensitized. I think it's sensitized now.
Do you think we're more sensitive?
Because now we're more sensitive to it.
Okay.
Because we don't see it as often.
As grown-ups.
If we saw it all the time, we would be desensitized and it wouldn't have the same effect.
I mean, maybe it's just us. Because I don't watch a lot of like bloody stuff in general.
Yeah. I don't know.
But we can jump quickly.
Certainly not a PG.
The melting faces. Jesus, like this is PG, and you see eyeballs melting and rolling back. I mean, it's a lot.
Even the skeletons that they bump into, like those are creepy. I mean,
also, why are they screaming?
No.
Like, it's.
I know.
That was kind of dumb. I have to be honest. Like that. Like,
there was a few things that were pretty dumb in it, in terms of even the special effects, which I gave them a little bit of a pass because it was in the 80s, but some of the stuff was a little bit like hokey, like sci-fi. Like there was when they like one of the final scene.
Oh, with the clouds and
the clouds and like even just the beginning part when they're like it all of a sudden just glowed. I think it was like a blue, and it just sort of glowed, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like it didn't need it. I think like dark smoke would have been more effective.
Okay.
Just some of the stuff looked really like fake.
Yeah.
And the one thing I was thinking as the whole time, I'm like, this is Steven Spielberg. Like he's better than this, but maybe he wasn't better than that at that point.
Yeah, I mean, 81. I don't know.
Star Wars.
Yeah, again, I thought I thought a lot of it tracked for 81. I think even the ending, because I feel like I watch stuff now where I'm like, oh my God, that background is so fake. Like even now, I feel like sometimes the green screen stuff can be done poorly, Well,
how much do you think is green screen in that movie, though? You were saying like I think a lot of that stuff was like pretty. Authentic.
Oh no, I'm agreeing with you on the
sci-fi stuff.
The ending sci-fi, like so the no, actually, you're really just like the sky, like the ending, like all the sky stuff. Even the non-sci-fi sky, a lot in like to say the final 10 minutes of the movie, because I don't think all of that needed to be science fiction-y looking.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then the sky started turning, and of course that's when everything started like happening. And I agree with you. It didn't look seamless, but I was like, I watch shit even nowadays where I'm like, oh my God, that green screen is so bad.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyways, so what else? Let's see.
I laughed out loud, and I'm guessing you did too. When what is her name? Marion. Marion has she's in that white dress, and she's talking to the guy, and they're drinking and drinking and drinking.
Yeah.
And she's out drinking him. And then the German guy comes back, and she jumps the mile, and she runs behind the guy for protection or whatever, even though she was just going to stab him. So that was kind of strange.
But she still had that weird element of trust.
Yes, yeah. So
maybe
then
because he's American or something.
So then he, the German guy walks in the tent, and he's like, oh, things, whatever he says. It's like a little like, And so he turns to his guy and he starts taking out these metal bars with the chains.
Oh, I laughed. Yes, I laughed. That was
like,
great.
what the hell is going to happen? And he makes a coat hanger out of it.
And he like snaps it into a coat hanger. I did laugh at that one. That was funny.
Was a beautiful moment. In fact, I rewound that and watched it again.
That was really, really funny.
The timing, the direction, the intensity. I thought that was and I absolutely don't remember that when I was a kid. It was so funny.
I didn't remember it either. And it seems like a moment that I would have, but I didn't. It was fun, really funny. What was the other? There's like so many notes that I haven't even like looked at right now.
Another positive I had was there's a crazy car chase that goes on for a long time. With the trucks chasing each other, and the guys, the stuntmen, like flying off of moving trucks and rolling down hills. And I'm like, that's a real body. That's a real person. Like these are not just like mannequins they're throwing off of a moving truck. I mean, and I'm like, how did that person not get really hurt?
Right.
But you can, because I think being older now, you can spot that shit. And I truly was like, that's a really impressive stunt work. Like all of that whole sequence of like people climbing across trucks, jumping, falling off cliffs. And I'm like, that was real.
It was good, and I think that, so I complained a little bit in my notes that, some of the scenes were too long and whatever. And, but I will say like this car chase was very long, but I actually really liked it. I thought it was a great scene. And I thought it was almost like, I hate to say realistic, because you think like, okay, he takes over this truck and there's like 1 million people like guarding this thing. Like, how is he going to get out of this? And I mean, there's one scene where he's like crawls underneath the car, like underneath the truck.
Yeah.
Remember that part? That's a little bit.
The truck was going way too fast. Like it probably.
And I think it was after he was shot. Was it after he was shot? So he has like a hurt arm. Right. He's trying to like basically bring his body underneath the car, like the car length, a truck length, and comes out and everything. That was a little bit unrealistic, but I really liked how he like took out everybody. And he was like, it was unique. It wasn't like, okay, this guy's going to fly off. Okay, now this guy's going to fly out. Like, I felt like it was unique and kept my attention. During that scene, which I easily probably could have been bored since it was very, very long. It was just
that was a very long car chase or scene, and I was not bored at all. It maintained that excitement for me.
Yeah, same.
And what else I don't have too many notes. I guess I was pretty engrossed in this. Karen Allen, who played Marion.
Yes.
I want to talk about her for a minute. I loved her and hated her. I feel
the same.
I don't know if it was a great female strong role, because there's times where I'm like, oh, this is like, wow, why isn't this performance more regarded or this role more regarded? Then I'm like, oh, because, and I felt like the movie wasn't the screenplay wasn't really fair to her, because we meet her as a tough, hard drinking, bar owner. Like, this woman is a tough, smart, ballsy, strong lady.
Yeah.
However, the movie just decides at different times to make her whiny, hate to say this, Christina, but like almost like a whiny.
She was not consistent in her personality.
Like a whiny. Do you know what I mean? Like a whiny wife, like honey. But instead of honey, it was like Indy.
Yes, that bothered me so much. Like it had been 10 years. First of all, I didn't feel like they had a ton of chemistry. And I think that there was a reason why she wasn't in the following sequels. I think that there's a reason for that. And it's because of what we're talking about right now. I just don't think she was very consistent in like what her personality is supposed to be. So they had something going on 10 years ago. Okay. And so she's been since alone, right? Running this bar, super independent, tough. She knows how to handle herself. But then all of a sudden Andy shows up, and it's like what you say, like it's the first sign of trouble. She's like, Andy.
Andy.
And I'm like, oh, figure out a way to get out by yourself. Like, what are you doing? And then, he gives her no reason to even like trust him or feel like anything. Like he left her high and dry literally 10 years ago, but then also several times he was not there for her. And then he finds her and he's more interested in getting the treasure than saving her life. And I understand his like rationale to it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, well, if you're gone, then they're going to notice. But they could have freaking killed her. So there was like, and then she still is like interested in him. Like, are you kidding me? Like I would have been gone. Like I would not have. He showed there was no reason at all that would have told me that he was interested in me or my life. He was clearly just interested in the treasures throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
So for her to be this independent woman and still trying to get with him and trust him did not make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it was, and I agree with what you said, what her personality is supposed to be. I actually don't think, I think Karen Allen was fine. I think she did everything she was supposed to do. I think that's what I was saying. I think it's a screenplay issue where it's like, well, wait, is she strong or is she a damsel in distress?
Right.
Because, and not to say you can't be both in certain things, but like, a snake, oh my God, Andy, hurry. It's like, wait a minute, you just beat up like 5 guys in the town square. Like, and now just like, there's like snakes and you're freaking out. It just, I don't know, some of that didn't track for me.
Also, did you feel like it was funny that she was wearing it as a necklace? That at the very beginning?
Oh, yeah.
Like he comes looking for this thing that he left 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he leaves, and all of a sudden she just like happens to take it out, and it's this huge thing. Like it is not a necklace. So she literally wears it on her body for 10 years.
Well, she probably knew maybe she knew how valuable it was, or she knew how much he wanted it. Maybe she wore it hoping he'd come back. For
10 years? I don't think so.
Some people really hang on.
She's a smart, independent woman, apparently.
But to be honest, I haven't followed up with like much with Karen Allen's career, but I'm trying to think what else she's been in. I didn't look it up or anything.
Something tells me I haven't really looked it up, either. Something tells me there's some tragedy there.
Yeah. Well, I think she's still alive, isn't she? Married?
No, I think she is still alive, but I feel like she might have had a rough go for a while, but I could be wrong about that. But I don't know. I just get that something.
Who I'm getting her confused with too is Maud. Is it Maud Adams? Because she's married to the guy from Monk. Or is it Karen Allen? Ah, damn! I have to look it up. I apologize for getting all of these facts wrong.
It's fine. Nobody cares.
But anyway, I struggled with her character because I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I like that. They're equals. Like she's tough. She can take care of herself. Mm-hmm. But then it was like, Andy. Like, oh God.
Just, like annoying. The monkey I remembered. I really liked the monkey, and then I really hated that monkey. And then I liked it again, and then I was kind of glad it died.
The monkey was cute, but
it was cute. But, oh my God, were you so mad when it like was like totally gave her up in the basket?
Yeah.
It's like, awful. Oh my God, monkey, shut up.
Awful.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite figure out why they constantly kept them alive. Like, I feel like they kept getting sort of caught or surrounded, and at every turn, I'm like, wait a minute, everyone else in this movie is expendable. There are dead bodies all around.
Oh my gosh. And even like Karen Allen is like blowing people away, like no regard for life whatsoever.
Well, that's for sure. But then I was like, but there were many times where they were always surrounded or caught or like running. But I'm like, wait a minute. Let me just follow that. Like, there's a couple scenes, and I think I'm right about this, where like they're being truly shot at by enemies, right?
Yeah.
Then they essentially get caught. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense to me. Why didn't they shoot them? Because that army of people were all trying to kill them.
Right.
But now that you're close enough, you're just capturing them. Like,
it's weird. I feel like there should have been some sort of like not off camera, but like off scene where they were keeping him alive so that he would lead them to the treasure.
mm,
Like, I feel like that should have been said somewhere, because you're right. It doesn't make any sense at all that they would keep him alive. Like, just shoot him.
Right.
You have him surrounded like 100 times.
Yeah.
And even her, like, what does she bring to the table?
Yeah. I mean, because it's clear that he wouldn't give up what he was going after to save her. Like they weren't even
made that pretty crystal clear.
He made that clear when he left her tied up to a pole in a tent. Yeah. I did like the last note I have is I liked the plane sequence in the fist fighting.
Oh yeah, I remembered that actually. That was a scene I had remembered.
Yeah, like the big guy that walks out, he's all excited to beat up Indiana Jones. And it was crazy. But I liked that. I think that was done really, really well.
Me
the
too.
Suspense of that was really done nicely. And then all I other have is like the melting faces, which I remembered vividly.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of, to be honest, it's kind of all my real thoughts on it. But I liked it. I liked it more than I did when I was a kid.
Interesting. So, do you want to take a break so we can just kind of?
Well, do you have any other?
I need to look at my notes. I don't know what notes we've talked about and what we have not, because we've just been blah 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 blah.
I know.
Let's take a quick break.
Take
a look at my notes and see if there's anything that I missed, and we can do the questions, and we can give like basically our final thoughts, or I can give my final thoughts since you just gave yours.
Well, no, I'm trying a overall final thought. We'll see. Okay. We'll take a break.
All right. We'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back. Talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. I have a couple of notes that I noticed that I had not talked about.
Awesome.
So I thought that Mary dying was a really good twist.
Yeah.
You know, I think I realized this time around that she didn't really die, but it was pretty realistic in that it was further in the movie. It was it was a later part in the movie. I could see people believing that she was actually dead. I mean, it was right.
I believe.
And honestly, I was like, maybe I was questioning it. I was like, maybe she did die. Maybe that's why she wasn't in the second and the third movies.
Yeah.
And the fourth and the fifth or whatever, how many more were. But you know what I mean? I was like, wow, did she really die? It was a good twist.
And at one point, it was funny because after it happened, I had forgotten that too. I've only seen this movie once, and I was younger.
I only saw it once.
We're talking 30-something years ago, the last time I saw it, and I actually did forget because honestly, like, and then when she's used later on in that drinking scene, I'm like, well, no wonder why I forgot, like, that she wasn't dead, because I didn't remember these non-action sequences very well.
Right.
But what I will say about that is I completely bought it, and I remember thinking at one point I was like, oh my god, wait. So, and again, going back to that balance of slapstick and blood and guts, because if you remember what leads up to her death is all slapstick. Mm-hmm. It's like she runs into the room and the guy runs right after her and you hear a clong and then he falls out of the room and she runs. Yeah. And she's hiding in a basket and the monkey exposes her. That's kind of funny, but frustrating. And then they're running and then he can't pick which basket's her. And then he runs down the wrong way and he sees another basket, but it's not her. So it's all these sort of like set up sticky pieces that leads to her death. And I'm like, that's a weird choice for a movie like this. Totally. So when she does come back, it's like, okay, good, because obviously they wouldn't let her die in a basket. I mean, it's pretty morbid.
Humiliating. After all she's been through, she's going to die in a basket. That's pretty bad.
So that's the only that was my takeaway on that. I was like, oh my god, but but that's that weird balance of like slapsticky but real human consequences to the slapstick. It's weird.
Yeah. One thing I kind of thought was funny, and Matt actually pointed it out. So they dig in this big thing, there's a hole and you have to go in, all the snakes on the floor,
Yes.
right? And then they get trapped in there and they have to get out and they find a way out and they push the thingy out.
Yeah.
And it's just right next to the airport the whole time. All this time, they could have just gone right in and found it. Kind of weird. Funny.
That's a really funny point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
I was like, wow, okay, no one thought to check this big tomb?
Yeah. I didn't actually, that's a really good point. I didn't consider that.
Yeah, I never thought of it until Matt said that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And then when he was trying to disguise himself, not disguise him, but he found somebody's uniform and he went to put it on and it was too small.
Loved it.
It was so good. It was so unexpected. Yeah. Really cute. Those are the kinds of moments that I really liked. It was really funny. Like the hanger and the shirt and things like that. Yeah, those were really, really funny. And then I thought the very end was funny where they go through all the stuff. They got paid, they get paid $2,000 or something for this whole thing, right? But and then they end up putting it it in the crate in the warehouse with thousands of crates. Yeah. Thought it was hilarious.
And that to me was weird because I'm like, wait a minute. That's where this is going to end up. And like, that was the big important thing, like Hitler and like, I mean, and that's where it goes.
Yeah.
Just
well, it was sort of like a point, I think, where what was it they were saying? Like they have to figure it out. They have to do some research or something. They had to figure it out. It was some sort of government thing. And it was just sort of like a big point, like, all right, this is the government trying to figure it out. Like it's going to be stuck in there forever because they'll never figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I didn't enjoy it that much, to be honest. I thought it was, it was fine. I mean,
I will probably never watch it again.
I will never watch it again.
But yeah. And I wouldn't, but the thing is,
as far as recommending, I think I would recommend Temple of Doom before I would recommend this.
Totally.
Right.
I completely agree. I personally am speaking is that like, did I like it more than before? Yes. And that's that. But yeah, would I watch it again? Probably not. Not really. And would I recommend it? I think I'd recommend absolutely Temple of Doom before this one. Because I don't think you need to see Indiana Jones, like this one before Temple of Doom. It doesn't matter.
I think they're all pretty independent of each other.
Yeah, I think so too.
How many are there? Are there 4? Didn't he make another one like that no one saw?
Yeah, well, it was
the one with Sean Connery.
That's Last Crusade.
That's the third one, right? Last Crusade. And then
I'm pretty sure
was one more after that when he was
was Cate Blanchett in it? Maybe. We can look it up. We'll look it up.
Yeah, somebody will look it up for us.
Someone will look it up, not us.
But Temple of Doom was great. And I enjoyed Last Crusade because of Sean Connery, like that relationship between them.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anything else about it. It's probably a fake memory like this movie, thinking it was so funny.
Questions. I have one for you.
Okay, and I have one for you.
Okay. This is okay. Hold on one second.
I will hold. And for those listening, we are doing a Zoom recording as well. So if you feel the urge to see us in action, especially now with Brian walking away from the camera, and I think it was Shorty he just did something with.
Yeah, just helping Shorty.
So, if you're interested in watching us, I mean, you have lots of time on your hands, I bet. Feel free to tune in to YouTube as well as iTunes and all that fun stuff. Are you all set, Brian? Or do you want me to I can go first.
Shorty was having a little moment. I'm sorry. He had to, yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't heard my dog bark yet.
Something to look forward to. Here's my question. It's not a match gamey thing. It's not an FMK, but it's a more a personal thing. Ooh. Which of the scenarios of Indy?
I was very nervous that you were going to have the same question that I did. I'm glad
with
you
these
didn't.
scenarios that Indy and Marion encounter would be your not worst nightmare, but like
Okay.
your worst, most feared situation.
All right. Do we have multiple? Okay.
Snakes, I do. Snakes, they're all S's, and I know my S's are coming out rough on these recordings.
Yeah,
but
sorry guys.
snakes,
We're trying our best with our recordings. Hopefully this one's a little bit better than last one. Stop.
Snakes.
Stop.
Snakes, spiders, skeletons.
The worst scenario?
The worst of the three for you. Snakes, spiders, skeletons.
Skeletons don't bother me somehow.
Oh, okay.
I know. I don't know why. And actually, snakes don't bother me either. I think it would be the spiders. Spiders, I find fascinating if I can look at them and like watch them. But I do feel like they're very creepy and sneaky, kind of like a cat.
Wait, spiders or snakes? Spiders.
Spiders. Did I say spiders?
You said spiders would be the worst.
Spiders are the worst.
Okay.
For me.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because I think they're just like, I don't know, they're creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
clearly
dead wrong.
Yeah.
Dead wrong. That was the third choice.
What do you think was the first?
I really actually thought snakes and then skeletons and then spiders. Because I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I was getting like, I just pictured you with like being like with a lot of snakes being fearful, but then the skeletons just because it's claustrophobic, like that scene with all the skeletons.
Yeah, but for those like skeletons, I don't know. I just don't really find them that creepy. I just feel like they're just like rocks.
The funny thing is, I actually like spiders. I think spiders really graceful, and I like that they help sort of control, you know.
I like spiders. Yeah. I like spiders. I just find them to be the creepiest of the bunch. I actually have in my classroom, I have a pet snake. And yeah, so I feel like I'm more familiar with snakes. And also, if you think about it, right? Like the feeling of like a bunch of snakes around you, it might be kind of soothing. As long as it's not killing me.
Okay. Well, that was a disaster for me.
Yeah,
but good to know about you.
Well, there you go. So I have a question for you. It's an F, marry, kill.
Okay.
And your choices for this scenario would be number 1, Indiana Jones. Number 2, Han Solo.
Oh.
Which is another character that Harrison Ford played, for any of you out there. He did a little movie called Star Wars. And the third one is, I don't remember his last name, but Jack from Working Girl.
Oh my, Christina, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know I give you some bad scenarios sometimes.
Give me a moment.
Indiana Jones, Han Solo, and Jack. Do you know Jack's name in the movie? Is it Trainer or something like that?
Oh.
Somebody else. What was Jack Trainer?
I think Jack Trainer's the name. There was Trask was the name of the company, right, that was going to...
Suppose I could look it up.
Okay. Yeah, let me think about this.
I'm looking it up. Uh-oh. Well, I hope I don't lose the song. I don't do very well with the song, with being responsible for the song in and out of this broadcast. Am I supposed to? Oh, I'm not. You know what? No, it's fine.
I have my answers.
All right. Does it say the characters? Hold on. I'm just doing the cast. Sorry, people. People are probably annoyed at us right now. My phone is wicked slow today. Jack Trainer. I'm so smart. I can't believe
that's really good.
That was total, that was like pulling right out of thin air. Amazing. Okay.
Did you guess already for me?
I am going to guess.
Oh, right.
Oh,
I should say it first. Or no, how does it work?
I think I guess first.
Okay, good.
Well, why do we always go through this? We should write this stuff down somewhere. So I'm going to guess that you would marry Jack Trainer. You would kill Han Solo. And you would F Indiana Jones.
You were wrong all around.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I would
Really?
F Jack Trainer.
Okay.
Okay, let me just get through them first. Marry Han Solo and kill Indy. So here's why.
Interesting.
Working
Totally
Girl, Jack Trainer, as much as I liked him in that movie, I think he has sort of commitment issues. I think he's very easily led.
That's true. He did cheat on
women
Sigourney,
up,
right?
picking women up in like bars when Catherine still seems to think they're practically engaged.
Yeah.
Like something's not clear about
That's
that.
true.
It's coming from him. He sort of avoids tough conversations. So I like him. So F him. Marry Han Solo for a couple of reasons. One is like I think he's very noble. He's like grumpy, but he gets the job done. And I think that if he has to travel once in a while, that's fine too. Like, but I think at the end of the day, he's noble, he fights for what's right, and he knows how to negotiate. He also knows how to negotiate, which I think is an important skill. And then kill Indy because I think he'd stress me out. Every time he'd leave, I'd be like, is he gonna die? Like, what kind of relationship is this?
That's true.
So,
those are good reasonings.
And he's just focused on these artifacts, like more than anything else. So not much of a relationship there.
Yeah.
What would you say?
For myself or for myself?
Yeah.
I think I would marry. I think I would marry Indiana Jones, and I would probably F Jack and kill Han Solo. Because I think that like Jack. I don't know. I agree now that I might have answered differently before this conversation, but I agree he's not really very trustworthy. And Indiana Jones, he goes on his adventures, but he's also like a responsible professor, and he seems like kind of a good guy in a way when he's not on his adventures.
Okay.
And then Han Solo, I just don't care. I don't care.
Wow.
All right.
Good times here. Good times.
So I guess that's it for this episode.
Yeah. And in the meantime, till next time, stay home, stay safe, stay well, and thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Stay well. Till next time.